Before we dive into today's story, do us a solid and smash that like button if you bleed burgundy and gold. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Now let's talk about a potential trade rumor that's got Commanders Nation both fired up and scratching their heads. So here we are. June is rolling in. OTAs are underway, and the Washington Commanders are still being linked to bold, aggressive moves. The latest, a trade pitch that would send second-year defensive lineman Johnny Newton to the Cincinnati Bengals in exchange for all-pro edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, you heard that right. This trade proposal dropped via ESPN analyst Seth Walder. And let's just say it stirred the pot in a big way. Washington has already gone all in this offseason, swinging for the fences by bringing in stars like Deebo Samuel Sr., Marshon Lattimore, and Laremy Tunsil. So what's one more blockbuster, right? Well, it's not that simple. First, let's talk about Hendrickson. The Bengals' star edge rusher is currently in the middle of a contract standoff. He's unhappy with his deal and has threatened to sit out the entire 2025 season if things don't get resolved. Cincinnati, notoriously tight with the wallet, hasn't blinked. That's opened the door, at least hypothetically, for trade. Chatter. Hendrickson is 30, yes, but he's still a dominant force on the edge. He notched 17.5 sacks in 2023 and 14 more in 2024. Last season, he posted the second-best pass rush win rate in the NFL at 24%. That's elite. That's a closer. And quite frankly, that's exactly what Washington's defense could use. Right now, Dorrance Armstrong is the team's top edge presence. Talented? Sure. But you pair him with Hendrickson, and suddenly that pass rush goes from respectable to terrifying. Dan Quinn would absolutely salivate at the idea of that tandem. But here's where things get tricky. Seth Walder's trade pitch wasn't just a couple late-round picks. His suggested package, a 2026 third-round pick, a 2027 seventh-rounder, and Johnny Newton. That's where fans lost it. Newton was a second-round pick in 2024, a disruptive interior lineman with real upside. He showed flashes as a rookie, quick get-off, violent hands, and a motor that doesn't stop. Many believe he's a future building block, not trade bait. Yes, Washington's interior already features big names like Darren Payne, Javon Kinlaw, and Deatrick Wise Jr. But Payne's under long-term contract, Kinlaw's on a prove-it deal, and Wise is more of a rotational vet. Newton is young, cheap, and trending upward. Trading him now? It feels short-sighted. It feels desperate. And it just might go against everything GM Adam Peters has built so far. Let's not forget, Peters has not shown a willingness to part with his high-end draft picks. Since taking over, he's made it clear this roster rebuild isn't just about big names. It's about sustainability, development, and locker room culture. Dumping Newton this early? That's a Rivera-era move, not a Peters move. That said, Washington is clearly in win-now mode. They came within one game of the Super Bowl last year. Jaden Daniels is still on a rookie contract, and the NFC is wide open. That window is cracked. Open. A player like Hendrickson might just be the guy to kick it all the way through. So it's a classic NFL dilemma, future versus present. Development versus dominance. And this isn't the only time this offseason the Commanders have had to balance. Hype with reality. Take Deebo Samuel Sr., for example. After the trade from San Francisco, fans were ready to crown him WR1. But ESPN's Bill Barnwell recently poured a little cold water on the situation, urging fans to temper expectations. Barnwell said it best. Deebo will break tackles and bring energy, but he'll also miss time and drop a few key passes. This isn't 2021 Deebo. This is a WR2 in a physical scheme, used creatively but not overworked. That kind of level-headed analysis could apply to Hendrickson too. He's not 25 anymore. He's not coming cheap. And he's not showing up unless he gets a new contract. Would Washington be willing to pay him and give up Newton in the same breath? That's a massive gamble. So, should the Commanders pull the trigger? It depends on how aggressive Peters wants to be. If he truly believes Hendrickson is the missing piece, if he thinks this defense needs a closer to win the NFC, then maybe you consider it. But if you believe in Newton's upside, if you believe in building something sustainable, then the answer is simple. Hold the line. There are other ways to upgrade this defense without mortgaging a future star. The Commanders have come too far to get reckless now. Let's rewind a bit. Washington didn't just tinker this offseason. They went full throttle. Forget the rebuild. This front office is chasing a Lombardi trophy, and they're doing it by shipping out future draft capital to bring in established stars right now. Two moves on offense stood out: the blockbuster trade for wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. and the acquisition of five-time Pro Bowler Laremy Tunsil from Houston. While Deebo adds firepower and attitude to the WR room, Tunsil might be the more important piece, because nothing matters if your quarterback can't stay on his feet. Jayden Daniels is the future of this franchise. Period. His rookie season was electric. His legs bailed this offense out of more trouble than we can count, but that can't be the long-term plan. Washington had to invest in top-tier pass protection if they want Daniels to keep growing as a pocket passer and survive a 17-game grind. That's why GM Adam Peters didn't settle. Despite Brandon Coleman showing real promise last year, Peters swung big for Tunsil, a player long considered among the best blindside protectors in the game. But here's the twist. Tunsil wasn't exactly vintage Tunsil last season. Sure, the numbers weren't bad on paper. ESPN graded him with a solid 2.2% quick pressure rate and just 2.5 sacks allowed over 17 games. That's elite production for most linemen. But the penalties? Woof. Tunsil led the entire NFL with 19 flags, including 12 false starts. He even had a brutal 6-penalty game against the Vikings, 3 of which were illegal formations. For a player with his experience, that's flat out alarming. Now, was it a bad season or just a weird outlier? That's the million-dollar question. And in Washington's case, it's actually a $21 million question. That's right. Tunsil is heading into a contract year. The final season of a 3-year, $75 million deal he negotiated himself. He's set to earn $21 million this year, and if he plays up to his potential, that might actually be a bargain. But this isn't just about money, it's about legacy. At 30 years old, Tunsil still has gas in the tank, but his reputation took a hit last year. Now, in a new environment, on a playoff-caliber roster, with a young star QB to protect, the pressure is on. If he returns to form, this trade could go down as one of the most impactful moves of the entire offseason. If not, it'll be a massive blemish on an otherwise brilliant roster retool. Inside the building, the Commanders are betting this move pays off. Dan Quinn is said to love Tunsil's leadership. Offensive line coach Bobby Johnson reportedly believes he can clean up the mental mistakes and get him back to all-pro form. The team sees this not just as a short-term upgrade, but as a message. We're serious about winning now. And let's not forget, when locked in, Tunsil is a nightmare for edge rushers. Just ask any pass rusher who's gone up against him in the AFC South. There's a reason he was one of the highest-paid linemen in football. Washington's championship window is officially open, and windows don't stay open forever. With Jayden Daniels on a rookie contract, Deebo Samuel healthy, and a defensive front rebuilt under Dan Quinn, now is the time to go all in. Tunsil doesn't need to be perfect. He just needs to be reliable. If he can stay disciplined, clean, up the flags, and return to form, this offense has everything it needs to go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the league. But if the penalties keep coming, this could be the kind of move that unravels a playoff push. But hey, that's just our take. Now we want to hear from you. Should the Commanders trade Johnny Newton for Trey Hendrickson? Is it worth sacrificing a young stud for a proven veteran? Edge rusher. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and ring that bell so you're first in line for every rumor, every roster move, and every snap of the 2025 season. This is your team. This is your channel. and this is Commander's HQ.